it's me, Aino here. Thank you for coming to see me. Today's video is going to be health update together with getting ready, and the cosmetics that I'm going to use to do my makeup today is mostly from Allure beauty box, specifically from the past 6 months. The only stuff that is not going to be from Allure beauty box are the pencils that I'm going the brushes that I'm going to use to do this video, and also of course the primer, the foundation, concealer and corrector. The real stuff, you know, it's basically the base to get the face ready for the actual color. So let me start by putting on primer. This is my new favorite primer at the moment. It's kind of like it gets your face sticky enough that the foundation wants to stick on it when you start putting the foundation on. Also, I like this primer at the moment on my eyelids, so it's just, I don't use a special eyelid primer, just this is enough. Right, my primer is on, let's do some foundation work here. So maybe some of you noticed that last week I didn't upload more than just one video. I had hoped to upload 2 videos, one on Monday and one on Thursday. Unfortunately, the Thursday one just didn't happen, and that's because I was relatively down last week, and I will get to it soon. Right, so what happened last week? Monday last week I got bored. So that was a small surgery, as they promised. It was kind of in and out, and now I have a port. Let me show you. It's literally not much to see. It's just, right, it's still a little bit bruised. There are stitches, and that's pretty much it. It's not as bad as I thought. It's kind of hidden. And once the stitches heal and fall off and everything, it should be pretty unnoticeable, which is my hope. Right, so about the board surgery, it went pretty okay, except for a few problems, of course. So what happened? Last week, when I woke up, last Monday morning, so last week I was scheduled to go get the board surgery in the morning, Monday morning. So I woke up on time, like I was supposed to. When my daughter goes to school, she has to be at school by 7:30. And I was up. Unfortunately, I had a lot of pain in my legs. So what had happened was that I had on Sunday gone for a walk, but not just my regular 20-minute walk, but I had done it 2 times, basically morning and in the evening. And then when Monday morning I woke up, my left hip and the standing leg were, I mean, the pain was unbelievable. And even when I took oxycodone and morphine, it didn't completely cover the pain. So what had happened is that I think so that area has some cancer in it, and I think the walking kind of made it, maybe I don't know, maybe the cancer is positioned so that when I walk, some sort of nerve kind of rubs against it, and then if I do it too much, I get this severe nerve pain. I think that's what basically happened. And so I learned from that unfortunately I cannot do walks that are twice as long. So it's 20 minutes is what I can do. I cannot do 40 minutes, which kind of sucks because I don't know, I have been somebody who used to work out a lot, not maybe a lot, but for me to go for a walk for an hour was completely normal. It didn't even raise my pulse much before. That was basically before I got cancer. I was in a very good physical health. And now things are different. So a year ago when I was diagnosed, I wasn't actually able to do one circle of this 20-minute walk that I do these days. So what then happened was that I remember specifically last year in April, my mother came to visit me and we decided that we're going to do a walk every day. So we did one day, second day, and the third day I had so severe pain that I pretty much passed out. I think, well, those days, because I wasn't yet diagnosed, I didn't have the painkillers, and the only painkillers I had was over-the-counter Tylenol, which is basically acetaminophen or paracetamol in Europe, and ibuprofen, and even aspirin, but aspirin is very weak painkiller, so that was just completely out of the question. But even ibuprofen and Tylenol didn't do much, like didn't even do a dent to the pain. It was that bad. And when I say I passed out, I pretty much just fall asleep. So I think like my body kind of, I don't know, just decided that because it can't handle the pain, it's just going to go to sleep. It was, yeah, that's kind of how it was. So I just slept several days until the pain kind of subsided. And then once I got diagnosed, my doctor, after seeing the scans, specifically where the cancer was, she told that if I get very targeted radiation in my left hip area, the cancer would kind of be diminished, not completely wiped out, but enough kind of cancer in that area will be killed enough that it shouldn't bother my walking anymore, because it was just around where my standing bone is, which is exactly somehow was affected when I was sitting a lot or walking a lot. Actually, I wouldn't say a lot, even a little bit at that point was problematic. And even though at the time the opioids kind of helped me with the pain, after I did the targeted radiation, the pain on the left side really went away, so that before the main location of the pain had been left side, hip area, now that area was completely pain-free, and the main pain area actually came from just lower back and from the right hip side. So unfortunately, I'm not able to get more radiation for my lower back. At the moment, we're not going to try. We did an MRI to see if it would be possible to lower my pain by doing radiation in my lower back, but it's just not maybe going to work. And also they found that I have spondylolisthesis, which is something that would respond to more like specific stretches and not so much, to radiation. And well, the thing is, at the moment, we don't actually know if the lower back pain that I have is always from cancer, or is it from spondylolisthesis? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's mostly from cancer, but just anyway, I think it doesn't matter. So we decided with the doctor that we're not going to do more radiation. We're just going to manage pain with morphine and oxycodone, because it kind of works, and I don't even notice the side effects so much anymore. So my body is so used to it that I don't notice at all that I'm taking those medications. Like, my head is not foggy or anything like that. I'm completely clear. Yeah, but the pain is gone when I take the pain medications. So what else? So about the last week, the Monday, when I had the board put in. So as I said, right, I woke up, I had very severe pain. I took medications, and then unfortunately I fall back asleep. So by the time I had to go to the surgery, which was like, I had to be there by 9:30, I woke up 9:15, and then I was like, oh no, I have to be there already, because you actually, even though you're scheduled for 9:30, you're supposed to actually be there already at 9:15. So basically I woke up at the time I was actually supposed to step into the office at the surgery. I was supposed to step into the hospital. So I panicked. I hadn't actually changed my clothes yet, so I basically had PJs on, and I was like, okay, I have no time to change. I just grabbed a sweater and went as I was. The other thing was, I had to pick up somebody who would be there with me throughout the surgery, because my hubby couldn't be there this day because he had like a work meeting. So, oh God, I went to got this person, a friend of mine, and then finally we got to the hospital. It was like 9:45. So we were, at this point we were like half an hour late, considering where you're supposed to show up. But luckily they still took me. So that was a little hiccup, but luckily they didn't send me back. And the second hiccup that happened with the board surgery was, of course, when they had to put in the IV. Which was kind of expected, because my hand, so my only hand that can be used to put IVs on is my right hand, because my left hand has had surgery, the lymph nodes have been removed, so it means that you cannot touch it, you can't put IV on it. And so they started doing, so basically the nurse, when I say they, it wasn't they, there was one nurse, and the minute I saw her, I knew she's not going to be a good candidate for putting that IV in. I have seen so many nurses, I've had IVs put into me so many times that somehow I can tell if they're good or not before they're actually going to do it, which is kind of weird, but that's how it was. So I knew that she has attitude, and I knew that she's not going to stop trying. So the rule is that when IV is put into your arm, the nurse is not supposed to try more than 2 times. After 2 times, the nurse is supposed to go and get somebody who is much better than she is. She knows that this person would be much better putting the IV in, or actually there's also like a special team that can be called to put the IV in. Like, the special team has like ultrasound, and they basically do a good job. They are just meant for that purpose, to put IVs into patients who have trouble getting it in. Of course, the problem is that some nurses don't follow this, which sucks. And the thing is, because I was so uncomfortable and so unhappy and everything, I was kind of passive. So I let her try 5 times before I started screaming. So what I'm saying is, I should have actually told her after 2 times calmly that that's enough. But instead, I let her try 5 times, and it was extremely painful. She didn't listen to me that don't try this area because nobody can get it in there because it has so much scar tissue. And so, like, she just didn't listen to me, and she just kept going and going and going, and then it was so painful. And then the 5th time, I think she kind of thought that she got it in. But then with IV, it's kind of like, it's supposed to hurt at first, but then the pain is supposed to go away, because IV is something that you have to be able to keep in for a long time. So it has to be completely painless at this point. And so I telling her that it's hurting, this is something is not right, and she didn't listen. And then I started screaming at her, just take it out. IV is not supposed to hurt like that. I know how it's supposed to feel. You're not supposed to stick me that many times. And the whole floor went quiet. Like, everybody heard me, because there were no like actual, in the floor there were like little areas where patients were lying in the beds, and there were no doors. There were just like curtains, so it was technically open area, so everybody heard me. And because they didn't realize that the nurse had already been sticking me 5 times and she wasn't listening to me, I think everybody thought that I'm a difficult patient. But I didn't really care. I was like, I'm just sick of it. And so basically the nurse just disappeared. So I was waiting there for a while, and then somebody came, and she said, well, she's a doctor, and then she's going to try to put an IV in me. And then when she starts putting the IV in me, she's starting to like talk to me like a child, like it's supposed to hurt. I'm going to stick you, it's supposed to hurt, this is going to hurt. And I'm telling her, I didn't scream at the nurse because it hurts. I know it's going to hurt. I started screaming at her because she stuck me 5 times, and if I wouldn't told anything to her, she would have continued to do it for 10 times. But the reality is that if you can't really do it the first 2 times, most likely you're not going to do the next 10 times. It's just how it is. And so that's why there is this rule. And so after she kind of heard me, she was like, oh yeah, you're kind of right. And she did it wrong. But the thing is that she didn't really want to show it to me that the other nurse had done it wrong. What I've noticed is, in general, if somebody messes up in medical field, then when you complain, then they're never going to take your side. It's like, even if you're 100% right, they know you're right, but it's like they cannot admit that you're right. They won't apologize or anything like that. It's just, and I feel it's just so annoying. Like, it has happened several times where I have like complained about something and nobody like apologizes or says, I'm sorry, we're going to try to fix it, or we're going to never do it again, will never happen again. They might just say, well, we're sorry that you feel this way, right? They will never ever admit wrongdoing. And so it just kind of annoys me a little bit. But at the same time, well, hopefully they will just not do many mistakes. I mean, I understand mistakes happen. It's just, it would be nice if they would admit it, but they never do. And even in this situation where very, very clearly that nurse should not have continued, and her supervisor came and realized that the patient was right, she still couldn't really, admit to me, you know, she was more like, okay. Like I felt that her attitude changes towards me. Like she was on my side, but she couldn't put it into words. Like she couldn't admit to me that, you know, something had been done wrong to me by their department. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, other than those two hitches, it was me being late and being in a lot of pain, and also then having this problem with IV. After that, everything went very smoothly. When the doctor came to put this IV in, she did it with the first try. It was just beautiful. It didn't hurt. Everything was fine. And I don't remember anything from the surgery. Apparently, I was supposed to be awake, but I have no memory of it. I have no idea. Apparently I was supposed to have like propofol and I was supposed to be just awake, but I don't know. I don't remember anything. I just remember being in the surgery room and then waking up in the area where you're supposed to wake up. And this time I did actually get water, basically. Even though they tell you're not supposed to eat and drink anything before the surgery, from midnight to the surgery, I did drink a little bit of water because I was scared of getting very dehydrated and getting very bad headache. And actually this time I did have also a slight headache, but it wasn't nearly as bad. And when I got home, I just kept drinking water as much as possible to get my hydration back in, and I took a little bit of Ativan, this time only 0.25 milligrams, but that was enough to knock me out till Tuesday morning. Basically, I fall asleep. I was just so tired. I just slept the rest of the day. I think I got home like 3 p.m. So it was relatively late. I thought it would take less time. So I went in 9:45, I came out 3 p.m. So that kind of tells you how small or big the surgery is. So yeah, Monday I slept and Tuesday I also slept. I woke up and then I realized I'm very, very tired and I went back to sleep. And then Wednesday I was a little bit better. I tried my best to not go back to sleep and not sleep all day long. And so things were a little bit better. I was able to do things with my daughter a little bit, like pick her up. I took her out. I don't remember what we did. Oh, I think we went to get a lot of groceries, and we also went to a used books like store. Like I think the store is named Half Price Books. So sometimes we go there, and we got a Harry Potter movie. I think the third one, because we had seen the first one, the second one, we hadn't seen the third one. So we got a Harry Potter movie and we had a nice movie night that Wednesday evening with my daughter. I kind of tried to make up to her that Monday and Tuesday I was pretty much gone for her. Like she saw her mother just sleeping 2 days, which is like ridiculous. But then Thursday came around and Thursday I was supposed to upload a video. Wednesday I was too weak, or this kind of, I really felt really weak. Like it was hard for me to move around. Ritalin helped, but I still didn't manage to do my video, and so I thought that maybe on Thursday I can finish it off, and I did actually do a video that was like half done and it's still there and it just stayed there, and I think I'm going to have to like redo it at some point. I don't know what, yeah, like I can't use it. So I couldn't finish it. I started late the video and then I realized, oh no, I have to already go to chemo. So Thursday last week I was supposed to get chemo. I went to the infusion center. Actually before I went to the infusion center I had to give blood, and so it was the first time for me to try to use the port. And I was really freaked out about it because, well, the thing is that I don't know, like it kind of scares me to use the port because I don't know, I'm somebody who's really doesn't like blood and all this stuff, and I had already I managed to get used to the IV in my veins. It took me a long time, but I kind of managed to just accept it. But now I had to get used to this port, and the port is like straight here with my veins straight access to it. And what I didn't expect is that when they stick the needle in, you can kind of feel it. I mean, not feel it. Of course you will feel it. What I mean is you can taste something in your mouth, like this really yucky taste. And so I learned that I have to start carrying like hard candy or something with me so that I can put in my mouth for the moment they start sticking you with the needle. Like I didn't expect that because I guess I didn't look it up, and nobody really told that that's something that happens. And so when it happened, it took me very unexpected. So I basically almost fainted. I felt right when, I don't know if, so basically if you have ever fainted before, you know what I'm talking about. Like when you're about to faint, this horrible, horrible, horrible feeling comes on. It's almost like, feels like you're going to die, like everything just, it's just, your strength disappears, this extreme, disgusting feeling comes on. And then you basically are out. And so I felt this feeling coming on because the whole using this port and all this, taking the blood straight from here, like so close to me, you know, like when they do it in arm, it's kind of far away from me, I can do this, but now they're doing it right here. And I basically felt like, uh-oh, I'm going to faint. And so I started scratching myself, like it just kind of tried to create a sensation, any kind of sensation to keep me here, keep my senses here. And I also told the nurse, I started like panicking, saying to her, oh no, I'm going to faint, please talk to me, just do, you know, talk to me, change my mind so that I can focus on something pleasant, like ask about my daughter. So she started asking about my daughter, and I tried, and I managed to pull myself back, but frankly, oh my God, the feeling was unbelievably disgusting, horrible. You know, I was just shaking, and I started crying. I cried quite a lot, and it took me, so basically it took quite a long time for me to kind of get my blood work done and just be like, okay, I can go now. Because it was just so hard for me. The nurse was very nice. She talked me through it. She really helped me through it. She was very compassionate, and she really realized that, you know, if she doesn't help me there, I'm going to be just on the floor. So yeah, luckily I didn't faint. I managed to stay here, and I got through it. And then I had to go, and she left the needle in because I told that, you know, after this blood work, I'm going to have to go to infusion center, which is like just the next floor, like a floor underneath it, where the infusion center is. And so she was like, okay, I'm going to leave the needle in here. Like, so basically the whole setup is in here. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to put your blouse on top so that everything is covered up. so once you walk through the area that downstairs, that people are going to stare at you. And yeah, that's what I did. I went with needle in downstairs into the fusion center. I got admitted. It wasn't too long of a wait, and then unfortunately the nurse comes and tells me, the blood work is back, and your blood work shows that both your platelets are very low and your hemoglobin is really low. Basically the red blood cell count is very low, so we're not going to give you chemo today. And I was like, oh no, this sucks. And so they didn't do blood, they didn't give me blood transfusion right then and there, because they could do it, but it was just way too late, because it takes quite a long time, several hours. And so if you want to get like blood the same day, then you have to be there like before 12 already, and it was after 12. And so I had to go back on Friday. And so last Friday I went and I got blood. And right on Thursday they did take the needle out, so I didn't go home, even though they offered. They said, you can just keep the needle in, and I'm like, no, take that stuff out of me. I want to shower and I don't want this thing in me. But yeah, people sometimes do it if they don't want to get stuck too many times. They just keep the needle in, which is kind of unbelievable to me that you can kind of do it. I mean, like that you can handle it. And so yeah, I went back on Friday. I got my blood. So the thing is that blood transfusion, like new blood, doesn't give you platelets. So platelets, basically you can't boost them with blood. So you just have to kind of wait for them to go up on their own. So I think they said you're supposed to have at least 75,000 units, and I had like 45,000 units, so basically about half what you need to have. So yeah, it sucks. So I didn't get chemo again, which means that cancer is like, yay, I can do whatever I want. Which is like, oh, it just scares the heck out of me. Going to try this small eyeshadow palette trio that I got with Allure. Let's see how it looks on my eyes. So Saturday and Sunday, what did I do? Saturday was still kind of weak, so yeah, so I could feel that even though I had blood transfusion, then normally, like, I can feel the difference right away. My energy is back. But now I think because the platelets were also low, the blood transfusion like didn't have the same effect what it usually has had. But overall, I'm definitely feeling better than last week. And so yeah, so the reason I didn't really put up the video was because on Thursday, because I was just too tired. And at the time, I didn't even know that my blood was so low because I didn't expect it. So what else about my health? I have been able to lose a little bit of weight. Now I don't mind now that I don't actually weigh myself at all. The fact that I have to constantly go see the doctor, they constantly weigh me, and it's like if I want it or not, I know what my what my weight is, which in a way is, I guess, is good then, because then something in a situation where suddenly, then most likely I won't forget myself, where I kind of gain 30 pounds and won't notice it, because I just I can't miss it because I'm constantly reminded of how much I weigh, right? So yeah, but it's compared to like last time, so I was weighed last Friday and also Thursday, and which Thursday and Friday I weighed about the same, but compared to the 2 weeks before, I had actually lost like about 5 pounds. So I think my few health changes that I have taken into consideration, I'm going to put a link to the video there I talked about those health changes about my weight gain and what I have decided to do about it. I put them down, that video down. So only new thing that I have been starting to do that I didn't discuss last time is that I basically stopped eating late at night and just waiting till morning, because I actually had this tendency to eat throughout the night. Just wake up in the middle of, I don't know, because I guess I have this scrappy sleeping habits since getting sick, and I would just wake up and just eat something because it kind of helped to go back to sleep, but I read that it's just not good for you, and it can result in extra weight gain. So I tried to kind of do that. Actually, there is something called intermittent dieting, where basically you don't eat like 16 hours straight, 14 hours straight, like basically after 7:30 in the evening you don't eat, and then you don't have a breakfast until next morning like 9:30, 10:30, something like that. One thing I forgot to do is this thing. I don't know, this is something, says multi-stick grapefruit. I think I already put a little bit of powder on. I forgot I have this, but I'm still going to try it. You're supposed to not put it on while you already put powder on, but I think it's not too bad. Let's try. I don't know, I feel kind of jumpy and not focused at all today. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm like that. Let's try a highlight from Ofra. I'm going to just use a light one. Oh my god, it's all over the place. Okay, let's try. Do we have something to do our eyebrows? Did the Allure send? Yeah, Allure sent this brow cal Donia Crux, the instant brown hair tinted brow gel with microfibers. Okay, let's see. It kind of assumes that I actually have brow hair. So I did decide to keep the wig from my last video, and I think I'm going to wear it every now and then because I kind of like it. So a few words about Allure Beauty Box. I think it's pretty good considering it's relatively cheap. However, I mean, among the things that are that very cheap price range, Allure Beauty Box is relatively good. I still need mascara, let's see. So they sent Wonder Beauty Mile High Club Volume and Length Mascara. Interesting. Okay, let's see, what is it? Tube. It's the first time I have mascara in a tube. So one thing I wanted to say, addition to my health stuff, is that I'm planning, or not me only, but my family, so my hubby and my daughter and me are planning to travel the last week of May this year and first week of June, something like that. Total about 2.5 weeks. We're planning to go to Europe and India, and so in Europe we're mostly going to go to France, but we're probably also going to go through Italy and Switzerland. Thank you for being here for me today. Bye.